won't take long. The guy will tell the parole board he wants out. The arresting officer, that's me, will tell them that he's an animal. And then they'll put him back in for another year.
Well, if it's a foregone conclusion, why go through the exercise?
Because this is a democracy.
What's making you so edgy today?
What are you talking about edgy? That's me. I always got edge.
It's not every day you check your cell phone instead of your gun. Thank you kindly.
While incarcerated, my client, Mr. Carver, earned a PhD in chemistry. Oh, and a master's in mechanical engineering from Northwestern University.
This is one sick dude.
I'm sure he is.
You can tell he's bad news just by looking at him.
Well, actually, Ray, I think he seems presentable.
This program
And how do you know it's bad news?
schools in the Chicago
Because you said it
area.
was bad news.
Mr. Carver also helped to reorganize the prison library. Now, he gets full marks in every evaluation as a well-behaved model prisoner. Now, if the word rehabilitation does not apply to my client, then I think maybe we should just remove it from the dictionary.
Charles Carver is a vicious predator who should not be put back on the street.
Predator? His records show only one arrest and conviction for arson.
He's lived with a series of women,
Hardly a crime.
one of whom is missing and the other who is dead. Now, we've never nailed this turkey for any of those...
Excuse me, but Detective Vecchio is completely out of line. My client has never been accused of, never mind arrested, for any other crime.
Detective Vecchio, as the arresting officer, has spent time with this prisoner.
Which produced no further charges. Look, are we going to start incarcerating people based on groundless accusations?
I would like the chance to show Detective Vecchio that I've learned a great deal while in prison, and that he greatly underestimates this turkey.
Thanks for driving me by here, Ray. Apparently there was a special request that someone from the Canadian consulate to pay a visit.
To a building that hasn't been built yet?
That wasn't mentioned, no.
Who made the request?
I don't know. Perhaps there was some kind of miscommunication.
Vecchio. Yeah, all right, I'm all over it. Oh, just got a call. Building up the street.
Inside. I'll make more tea.
Thank you, Kyle.
Hey, Maddie, what's going on?
Hey,
We got a call to this address on a 634.2.
yeah, in the bathroom. Hi.
Hi. Excuse us. Ray, what exactly is the 634.2?
Turkey in the shower?
I didn't see it. It seemed like it sort of grabbed me, and I sort of freaked.
Understandably.
All right, Maddie. If you don't mind, we're gonna have to ask you a few questions.
Is there anybody in your life who's a practical joker?
No.
Any weirdos or creeps that have a crush on you?
The hours that I work, it's pretty much no guys.
Right. Well, Benny, I guess you're gonna want to lick it.
Why's that, Ray?
See where it came from.
Well, it's obvious. It came from a supermarket. It's a standard frozen turkey, self-basting.
Yeah. Looks like we're not getting any fingerprints on it.
I think that's unlikely.
No obvious signs of forced entry. You know, Maddie, I'm gonna have a team come down and take a look around if you don't mind.
Yeah.
I get sent to this neighborhood by an inauthentic call. Coincidentally, you receive a call that sends you to a nearby apartment, which coincidentally belongs to an assistant state's attorney who attended a parole hearing, during which, coincidentally, you called the prisoner a turkey.
Carver.
So we can arrest him.
For what, assault with poultry?
Very heavy giblets.
Toy bus.
Line 28.
That's the Kenwood bus. Maddie, don't be alone today.
Thank you kindly.
It started with a young woman named Katie Banks. We found her body under a bridge. She'd been living with Carver. She bought him a car, a stereo, and a computer with her family money. And then he shacked up with a woman 15 years older. She ended up dead, but after putting Carver in her will.
And what was the cause of death?
Accidental. At least that's all we could show. This guy is cruel. He gets inside their heads.
So you think it's possible that he drove her to kill herself that made it look like an accident?
It's possible. Then within weeks, he found Helen Harris. Now, Miss Harris was willing to talk to us about the physical and psychological abuse, but she disappeared. And then we got lucky. The building burned down that he had an interest in, and I scoured the scene and I found a heel of a shoe that matched one that I found at his townhouse.
So he slipped up?
The only time. Now, we couldn't get him for what he did to those women, but we were able to put him away for a few years. He was furious, screaming it was a bum rap. It made him nuts that he got caught. Here's our bus.
Kenwood?
You got it. Nice move. What the? Damn it!
No break?
Go! Accelerator! Stuck! Everybody hang on!
All right, Ray, you know this area?
Yeah.
Okay, we need to find somewhere nice and soft to land in.
In the middle of the city?
I think Goose Down or Shaving Creek.
Shaving cream? You think somebody's gonna have a pile of shaving cream piled up somewhere in the middle of the
No, Ray,
city?
we're brainstorming. Do you have a city map?
There!
All right, I got it here. E4.
All right, we're gonna be coming up into some serious traffic and then a dead end.
Yeah, I see it. Grandin Road. Okay, think Teach.
Sawdust.
Water. Lake Michigan.
Hold on!
Well done, sir.
Thank you. Now what are we gonna do when we get to the lake?
Keep going.
Okay, take your time. Easy. Watch the water. Easy. That's it. Lori?
Ray,
How are you?
I'm all right. I'm all right.
Hey, Benny. I'd like you to meet my first partner, Lori Zahler.
Hi.
Geez, I haven't seen you since you quit the force.
Yeah, well, I pretty much stayed away from all the old places. The point was a calmer lifestyle, less excitement.
Do you ride this bus every day?
Every day.
At the same time?
Yeah.
Vecchio.
How did you do, Detective?
Did you figure it out by yourself, or did you get help?
You've blown it this time.
Blown it?
No, Detective. Blowing it is for next time.
Well, I'm not saying I won't accompany you, Ray. I mean, obviously, I am accompanying you. I'm just suggesting that you act with restraint, not out of pure emotion.
If I was acting out of pure emotion, I would just kill the guy. So anything you see short of that is a model of restraint.
Well, I remember that.
Detective Vecchio. Well,
Violating your parole within hours of being let out, how smart is that? Endangering the lives of 30 individuals and then calling up to take credit for it, how smart is that? And since you have to register with the parole officer and we're going to know where you are every minute of every day, how smart is that?
Ray,
What's he done to you?
He's tutoring me in chemistry.
Pure torture for some.
it's Avogadro's number, Ray. It's standard in any high school chemistry class.
I don't believe I've had the pleasure.
Constable Benton Fraser, Royal
Canadian
Canadian.
Mounted Police. Yes, I know. I love the Mounties.
Well, thank you.
Don't be thanking him.
Sorry.
There must be some logical explanation for why you're going around on duty with a Chicago policeman.
Curious, possibly, but logical, no.
A refreshing openness. A quality local law enforcement is sorely lacking. I was arrested and convicted for a crime I didn't commit.
There was physical evidence.
False evidence. Could I have been as stupid as they suggest?
You know, Mr. Carver, even the brightest light bulbs burn out.
Indeed. But is it not possible that your friend here crossed the line and framed an innocent man?
That's enough, Carver.
I hope so. And unless the Chicago Police Department has a problem with the teaching of high school science, Shannon and I have a great deal of material to get through.
Save it for someone who cares.
So we're raiding chemistry classes now, huh, Vecchio? Trying to combat this vicious epidemic of people trying to improve their minds in the city of Chicago.
That wasn't the purpose, sir.
Oh, good. So there was a reason for you to upset this law-abiding North Side student.
This guy is dirty, Lieutenant. He's out of control. He's going to hurt somebody.
I think it's time to check around, see who is out of control.
All right, fine. Let's put a watch on him.
All right. I'll put a team on it. Wow. You got to nail him for something a little more serious than giving too much homework.
Detective Vecchio's mobile office.
He available?
Yeah.
A full-bore Carver stakeout. I'm impressed, Detective.
Don't be.
This will make for a very solid Carver alibi, now won't it?
Depends on what you're planning.
You're in your car, aren't you, Detective? I'm surprised you let your timing get out of adjustment like that.
Make your move, pal. Let's get this over with tonight.
Good night, socks. Good night, clocks.
Good night, room, and good night, moon.
Yeah.
When you drive your car this morning, you'll find the timing improved.
When a couple of those belts and hoses were shot, so it just made sense to replace them. Basic stuff. Simple maintenance. You should keep on top of this, Detective.
You aren't even going to say thank you?
Did you notice also the car had been detailed?
You can kiss your parole goodbye, Carver.
Is it against the law to do something nice for someone? Do you want the old hoses put back? And the timing made bad again? Do you like dirt on the car?
Constable Frazier, Frank Greco is visiting us from the state's attorney's office. He specializes in police officer-related misconduct. So he'd like to ask you a couple of questions about Detective Vecchio.
Detective Vecchio was a fine officer. I have never worked with better. You know how committed he is.
We all know how committed he is. That's what I need to learn more about.
Is that a problem?
He seems to be taking the Carver case very personally.
Well, Carver has made it very personal.
What's your assessment of Detective Vecchio's current frame of mind?
I'm sorry, Detective Vecchio is my colleague and my friend.
Yes?
As a consequence, I really can't participate in this.
That's your election.
Yes, I know. And I elect not to participate. Thank you. Have you seen Detective Vecchio?
Nope, haven't seen him, but feel free to have a seat at his desk.
Thank you.
What is it with you guys? Let that bozo slip right by you. What's that?
It was on your desk.
Put it down. No more games.
Ray, do you know anyone with a boat called Bookham?
Yeah, Will Kelly. He was here before Welsh, retired to fish up on the river.
He's my first supervisor.
Huey, call the sheriff up there. Let's go. Will Kelly was the best. Everybody looked up to him. He was like, I don't know, imagine your dad.
I understand.
For some reason, he thought I could do this job, that I could be really good at it. It's because of him I made detective when I did.
I've heard his name mentioned.
They still quote him today. A good cop is never wet and never hungry. Interrogation is a contact sport. And all suspects are guilty of something.
Let me write that down.
Detective Vecchio, Vince Corey.
Yeah, how you doing? Ben Frazier.
Hey, that's a smart color for hunting season. Wish I could get everybody else to take the same precautions.
Thank you. Where's Kelly?
Look, I've walked all around this area. Everything seems to be in order.
Where's his boat? It's a rough day to be on the water.
Sure is.
Kelly's boat. Call for help.
Right, if the current brought this in, then upstream.
You got here at the right time, Constable.
Thank you.
It's a good thing you brought this fellow along, Ray. He knew right where to look.
I'm sure Detective Vecchio would have made the same determination.
The engine just blew. There's been a spark in the fuel system.
Or a bomb.
A bomb?
Yeah, you remember Charles Carver? We took him down when you were my supervisor.
Yeah, we sent him up for...
Arson, but we could have had him on those other charges, too. Fraud, possibly homicide.
I certainly remember you felt that way, Ray.
Well, he's out on parole. He's going after anybody who had anything to do with this case. It seems he wants the world to think he was framed.
You had him, didn't you, Ray?
Hello?
Francesca Vecchio?
Oh, they're beautiful.
From Ray.
Ray remembered my birthday? You gotta be kidding.
Is there somewhere you'd like me to put these?
Sure.
Right here?
No, let me just grab a trivet. God, they're fabulous.
Well, he must know how lucky he is to have such a pretty girl.
No, Ray's my brother.
Well, then the flowers from your husband can't be far behind.
I'm not married.
So the little ones...
My sisters. I don't have kids.
Oh. What a darling face.
Hey, Peter.
You take her out for a breath of air?
Yeah, well, her mom's gonna take her down to see the clown by the lake if it doesn't get too cold.
Let's hope the weather holds. Bye now.
Say bye. Bye.
Very stop.
Oh, you gotta be kidding me. There's gotta be 100,000 of those in Chicago. Vecchio.
Hey! What got into you? That was so incredibly sweet.
What are you talking about?
The flowers you sent.
Trying to get everybody in. Ma, Maria, the kids were on their way.
Maria's out with the baby.
It's not people related to the bus that he's after. It's people related to me.
Don't miss that one. What's the best word, boys and girls? Oh, that's right. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. Here we go. It's a little doggy. You like the doggy? Look what I can do.
Excuse me.
Can I help you? Hey, I'm trying to
Pardon me? Excuse me.
Hey!
Sorry, huh?
Hey! What are you looking for?
Excuse me.
Get away from here! Hey! What's that? Hey, hey!
All right, good. Phone works. Now listen, don't call me, all right? Ma, don't call me. I'll check in with you every hour, all right? All right. Be careful.
Bye.
You should be with them.
I can't leave work, Ray.
Well, you can't stay here either.
Welcome home, Benton. I hope you like lasagna. So, how was your day?
Fine, thank you.
Well, why don't you come over here and wash up? Right ahead. You know, it's gonna take me a while to get it just how you like it.
It's delicious.
You haven't tried it yet. Really? You know, because I just think it's very important that we be honest with each other right from the start.
It's perfect.
Oh, good. You know, you're always honest. I know that, but you're always polite too, so sometimes I can't know if you're being honest or, you know, you're being polite. If I babble too much, you have to tell me.
No. No, I mean, yes. Yes, I will. But no. Keep talking.
Okay. So, what are we gonna talk about tonight?
Anything you'd like.
When I'm with my friends, my girlfriends, we talk about, you know, skincare products and things like that, but,
That sounds interesting.
no. I read enough magazines to know that, you know, with each guy, you You talk about what he's interested in.
I see.
So, how about that Iditarod, huh?
Which Iditarod?
Come on, Franny, pick up. Fraser, why don't you have a phone?
This is so nice. So different from home. I mean, we're halfway through dinner and you haven't even yelled once yet.
Well, no.
I could really get used to this politeness stuff. You know, sometimes I think it would actually be better if married people treated each other like strangers.
Well, that may be. But it doesn't follow, therefore, that strangers would be better off if they treated each other as if they were married.
I love it when you're logical.
You're pretty much gonna like anything I say, aren't you?
Anything. You know, Frage, since skincare products are an area that I'm familiar with, I did manage to get rid of that harsh Mountie issue soap you were using.
I didn't realize it was harsh.
Oh, yeah. In our climate, that really dries out your skin.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, you have to end up buying like 2 different kinds of moisturizers to compensate for the dryness and the pollution in the air. And then
Smell
you
something burning.
Oh my God, the Perzulin.
No, it's not that. Downstairs.
The elevator's stuck!
I'll have you out in a second.
I called it in.
Hey.
You're leaving town. Excuse me, Lieutenant.
Thank you.
Okay, we found these and this, a sophisticated incendiary device.
Vecchio, it was a fire. Let arson handle it. What'd you find?
Everything you asked for.
And?
Well, when you read these old Carver files, it really seems that the prosecution's case was pretty thin. There was no record of any previous criminal activity. It was a very tenuous motive.
And yet the jury found him guilty.
Well, it all came down to that missing heel from Carver's shoe that Ray found at the scene. I mean, that and the intensity of Ray's testimony.
Now, Ray found the heel after the arson investigators had been over the scene?
Yes, but we were able to explain that because the investigators had been called away. I mean, they hadn't really completed their investigation. So it was possible that they could have missed it.
You don't sound entirely convinced.
He's your friend.
Yes.
You work with him?
Yes.
Oh, did you ever see him knock down a door without a warrant? Rough up a suspect a little too much?
Are you suggesting he stepped over the line?
I don't know, Benton. I just remember that he was so worked up over this case. At the time, it just seemed like a situation of someone going the extra mile. You know, real crackerjack police work.
Hey, Angie. Hi, Elaine. Are you here to see Ray?
No.
Is this place all right? I wasn't sure when you said you wanted to talk.
No, it seems perfectly fine.
Good. You know, we could have a drink. Doesn't have to be just business.
No. Yes. I mean, well, actually, the fact of the matter is I do have some questions I'd like to ask you.
About Ray.
Yes, about Ray. You were Ray's partner when you left the force, weren't you?
I was sick of police work. The lousy hours, bad food, the scuzzy people that you meet.
Such as Charles Carver.
Yeah, he was one of the scuzziest.
And you left shortly after the Carver case, didn't you? Now, was that because of Carver, or was it because of Ray?
Ray was pretty intense back then. That put a lot of people off, but I liked him. He really cared.
I mean, you cared as well, obviously. You were partners. You went back to the crime scene and found the heel in Nash Carter's shoe.
Actually, I didn't. We had put in an 18-hour day. We were off the clock, and Kelly sent me home to crash. Ray went back to have one last look around.
So Ray was all alone when he found the heel?
Carver didn't just study chemistry and stir. Condition of parole, we have access to his living quarters. The guys found that.
Clippings of the cases you worked on. Page from your high school yearbook. Most likely to wind up behind bars. Oh, that's not you. That's Vincenzo.
Yeah, he's got a book on me, but that still doesn't explain why he's always one step ahead of us. He seems to know just what we're thinking and where we're going.
And yet we haven't revealed anything to him.
The night he took my car. Vecchio.
I would have thought you would have figured out there was a bug in your car before this.
Carver.
Don't get off your game, detective. You'll make this too easy. And that won't be any fun at all.
Ask him how the heel on his shoe came loose.
The heel on my shoe wasn't loose.
He says it wasn't loose.
He heard the question.
There's another bug.
Lieutenant Kelly? Detective Huey. Helene Vespers?
Hi, we'd like to ask you a few questions.
Go on inside.
It has to have been close enough to the passenger compartment so he could have heard us.
Without being drowned out by the engine noise.
Is this another toy?
No, not just a toy. It's a 1971 Buick Riviera. It's my car.
Well, it's not your car, Ray. Your car's green.
Yeah, well, maybe he couldn't find a green one. It's still obvious. He's saying I'm going to have an accident.
Well, possibly, but look at the way this has been crushed, flattened almost, as though someone had stepped on it.
Right.
Well, very few accidents cause this, where a vehicle is flattened from the top. There are a lot of accidents you could cause, but to cause this would be extremely difficult.
So what are you saying? He's not threatening an accident?
I don't know.
You know, Benny, puzzles and riddles, I was never good at any of this stuff.
What are you saying, Ray? You solve puzzles all the time.
Yeah, well, not like this. This is like those problems in school, you know, those logic problems where a train leaves Dayton at 2 p.m. traveling 60 miles an hour, and another train leaves Akron at 1 p.m. traveling at 40 miles an hour. At what time do they intersect? The only answer I ever could come up was, I don't care.
It's a fine answer. And you're doing fine, Ray.
Oh, I'm not doing fine. You know, he's wreaking havoc, he's blowing up bombs, he's lighting fires, and I'm not even this close to stopping him.
Ray, no one has been hurt.
Not yet. You know, it's like I'm playing this weird game and I don't even know the rules.
You're figuring them out.
Yeah. But he's got me completely figured out. I'm not up to this, Benny.
Vecchio, I need to see you. Alone. You know Frank Greco from the state's attorney's office?
How do you do?
And of course you know our friends from Internal Affairs. Frank investigates officer malfeasance.
I don't believe this.
Ray, this isn't easy for me.
This isn't about now, Detective. This is about 8 years ago. The original Charles Carver bust.
What about it?
It's looking bad, Vecchio. The shoe with the missing heel hadn't been worn without the heel, as it would have been if someone were running from the scene of a crime. So the heel was removed from the shoe when it was indoors. The evidence was planted.
You're just discovering this now?
We've been asking some questions that should have been asked then but weren't, in the rush to judgment. And we've been talking to some people that should have been talked to then but weren't.
Like who?
Other investigators, attorneys.
My ex-wife. Look, don't you guys see what's happening here? He's doing this. He's got you focusing on the old case so that you're distracted and you're slowed down. We gotta move on this thing now.
This time, Detective, we're not going to be rushed into making a mistake.
You see, Constable, when you're angling for the big one, you need determination and you need patience. Rare determination.
What about patience?
Patience wasn't his long suit. Look, you've got to understand, Carver was dirty.
Dirty enough so a policeman would want to plant evidence? The arson investigators had combed that scene.
They didn't look under every charred timber.
So the heel was hidden.
It wasn't that well hidden. Ray found it. And we sent away a very bad guy. More than that, nobody needs to know.
Detective Vecchio, you were still with your ex-wife at the time of Carver's arrest, huh?
Yeah.
She said she saw the heel, what turned out to be the heel of Carver's shoe, at your home.
She might have.
You had it at your home?
Look, I had it on my possession from the time I left that crime scene until I booked it in at the station.
And you stopped there right about lunchtime, right?
Yeah.
Something that you were in the habit of doing.
No.
Would you say you've done it often, occasionally, rarely?
I've never done it before. Look, me and my wife, we were having some problems, okay? Our marriage wasn't going too well. We had a fight that morning, and I just stopped home around lunchtime to smooth things over.
So is it fair to say, Detective Vecchio, that you were emotionally upset at the time?
Hey.
Hey.
Listen, is it going to be okay?
Well, at this point, we don't know.
I'm sorry, Ray. They were asking me questions. I had to tell them.
You did right.
Listen, I told them that I thought you were more committed to catching bad guys than anyone I knew on the force.
You told him that?
Yeah, I did. Shouldn't I have?
Well, it's not that. They think that maybe I was too committed. They think I planted evidence.
Yeah, the heel of the shoe.
Yeah.
Listen, Ray, God, every cop in the district wanted that squirrel off the streets. I mean, he was creepy. He was doing weird things. But, you know, it seemed like, you know, if you could do something that could get him off the street, that wasn't going to hurt anyone, that wouldn't be a bad thing.
What are you saying, Ange? Did I plan it to heel?
Well, it's kind of weird, Ray. A guy that careful leaving a heel like that, and you're coming home carrying it in your pocket.
Do you really think I would do something like that?
I think you wanted him off the streets. I think you were right.
Take it easy, Ange.
Dave?
Another one? I'll call the consulate.
He won't be there.
Then I'll go by his place.
He won't be there either.
You know where he is?
No. I'm supposed to figure it out.
Hang in there, Benny. I'll have you untied in a second.
Stuck.
Your assessment.
Sucks.
That's valid. Listen, Ray, I've come to the conclusion that the heel was planted.
Not you too.
Yes. I mean, the arson investigators had been all over that scene.
Yeah, but not thoroughly.
Still, they should have seen it, since it wasn't entirely hidden in the debris.
How do you know it wasn't entirely hidden?
I was told. All suspects are guilty of something.
Kelly.
That's right. He was the one who sent your partner Lori home early. He was also the one who told you to go back for one last look around.
I wanted Carver so bad, I didn't question. Could have nailed him clean.
There was no evidence, Ray.
There's always evidence. I was new, Benny. I hadn't made detective. But I can nail him now. Found Helen Harris.
The woman Carver lived with, the one who disappeared?
Yeah.
I see. You didn't find Helen Harris.
I found Helen Harris living in Maryland. She's ready to tell the whole crummy story about how you treated her and those other women.
She's lying.
I don't think so.
Whoever you spoke to wasn't Helen Harris.
5'6", brown hair, walks with a limp, says you're a reptile.
This is a setup. It's Kelly again, or Welsh, or Fraser here.
Sorry, pal. You shouldn't have let this one get away.
I did not let her get away.
You should have killed her.
I did kill her.
You don't know how happy I am to hear you say that.
Okay, well, you've heard it, so what?
What if he wasn't the only one to hear it?
What if Lieutenant Welsh heard it?
And what if Assistant State's Attorneys Carnes and Greco heard it? It's very good, Ray.
You're not the only one who knows how to plant a bug, Charlie. You really didn't expect me to play this game by your rules, did you?
You knew Carver wanted to hear you panic?
Yeah.
So you knew the car was bugged?
Absolutely.
Very clever, Ray.
Oh, thank you, Benny.
I just have one question.
What's that?
Well, I have to meet the trade minister who's coming in by train from Waukegan tonight. Now, if the train is traveling at, say, an average of 100 kilometers an hour...
62 miles per hour.
0.14. And if I'm traveling at 100 kilometers an hour, where would the most logical place for us to intersect be?
Who cares?
It's a fine answer.
Britain's northern sky will carry you away. You know you have to leave here, you wish that you could stay. There's 4 directions on this map, but you're only going one way. Due south, that's the way I'm going. Due south.